So this is going to be a 3-part video. Well, this video is going to have 3 parts. This one video will have 3 parts. It will have one title, but will have 3 parts. And I'll put the times in the description. Because I don't know how long this video is going to be, but once I finish, I'll rewatch the video and find out where the transitions will be. So anyway, here goes nothing. So I've been watching Star Wars Episode 8. Well, the trailer for Star Wars Episode 8. And after watching the trailers and going over some of the fan theory videos that I've seen, it got me thinking. Kylo definitely might be trying to change back from being evil to being good. He's very conflicted, and I think the reason he wants to, be in the dark side is to have power. But in the end, he realizes that the power he craves is in the dark side, but it's actually the light or the force, just the whole force, like, being in tune with the force. And he probably goes on a whole spiritual journey where he realizes that he needs Rey. Like, Rey, not just Rey, he needs Rey, he needs Rey, and he also needs perhaps even Anakin Skywalker. That's right, Anakin Skywalker may be what will finally push him back towards the light. And how will this happen? I will let you know. So, Anakin Skywalker, is supposed to make an appearance. Could it be in a flashback, or is it going to be in a Force vision? Perhaps, most likely it's going to be a Force vision. He will probably be talking to Kylo and trying to get to change him to change his ways. Like, this is not the way. I'm your grandson. I was Darth Vader. I was there. So, and Kyle will probably be like, well, Darth Vader was Anakin was you were weak, when you were. He's like, no. He'll talk about all the suffering he went through, how he was a pawn of the Emperor, like how he's a pawn of Snoke, and after seeing with his own eyes, perhaps, how he's torturing Rey, Snoke is torturing Rey, he realizes, he's right. Anakin's right. This isn't Darth, now I don't want to be Darth Vader. I want to be Anakin, and he will probably, and that's where he tosses his helmet and realizes, screw the First Order. I gotta go save Rey. And perhaps, in fact, this is basically some ideas I got from several other videos I watched. This is not all my ideas. But before he goes to save Rey, he'll probably stop by Ahch-To after he captured Rey from Ahch-To. So he'll probably go back now, reformed, and says, well, Master Luke, or Master Skywalker, I need your help. Rey's being tortured by Snoke. I need your help. I want to be a Jedi again. Please teach me the way of the light side of the Force. And that's what Luke might say to him. The Jedi are over. But there's a chance that Luke may actually be saying this to Rey at the beginning. But most likely, I believe it's actually going to be later. That maybe towards the beginning to half part of the movie, to be saying this, but he also might be saying this to Luke. After, he grasps the lightsaber, he says, I want to be a Jedi again, and that's where he tells, Rey, the Jedi are over. But he also could be saying this to Kylo. After he, reconforms back and tries to re-enter, and apologize to Luke for everything that happened. And he probably, and then Luke might also say, the Jedi are over. I'm like, and then he might say, you have seen to that. Also, there's a scene where Kylo is extending his hand to Rey after she asks him or asks, "What's my place in all of this?" This could be two scenes that are not actually related, or it's not at the same time, but completely different times. But if they are related, and Kylo/Ben Solo is doing this, he could be saying to her, I'm not on the dark side anymore. I will help you deal with what he's doing. I will bring you back to the light." Because there's a chance that Snoke might have briefly turned her to the dark side, or no, probably not. But Snoke, this time Kylo might actually be reformed now, and they may actually now be on the Resistance side together. So we got to end the First Order. But there's also a scene where Kylo is about to shoot down Leia's ship. That is probably in the beginning half of the movie, since Leia finished all the training sequences, all the filming before Carrie passed away. Yeah, so all the filming with Carrie Fisher was done before she passed. So which implies that she will probably be alive for this remainder of this movie, and she's even rumored to be embracing Kylo. I think that's what I heard. I'm like, if that's the case, then that means Kylo does reform, or maybe not. Maybe they don't embrace, but they do meet. But I think Leia knows really why, her son had to do that. We'll find out. She'll probably be very upset, like saying, "Why would you do that?" Or she might be like, "Oh, I know." But since Leia is in tune with the Force, she may also have her own lightsaber too, perhaps, because it's never known if she actually became a Jedi between her time being being a senator in the New Republic and then forming the Resistance. Perhaps not, but since she is a leader, there's a chance she might have been a politician as a Jedi too. She might have also was trained in the ways of the Force, perhaps. But my theory is that yes, Kylo will be again conflicted, and I do think he will turn back to the light side and may still be pulled towards the dark. But I think he'll still be forced to be in the dark side by Snoke, but be pulled towards the light, and finally embrace it after seeing Rey probably being tortured. Or maybe perhaps seeing Anakin Skywalker's Force Ghost, who probably convinces him that, yeah, you want to be on the light side, you don't want to be on the dark side. So, but I'll tell you how I daydreamed how it all happened. So basically, Rey got captured, and Kylo Ren felt helpless, saying like he didn't really want to capture her, so he probably feels guilty about it, and now wants to go save her. So he goes to Luke to ask for guidance, and that's when Luke tells him, the Jedi are over. That's how my daydream happened. It was like basically 30-second daydream, but the oral explanation I got for the last 8.5 minutes was basically explaining how I think it's going to happen based on the daydream I had, or that deep thinking I had. But it's also based on intuition, and this intuition led me to correctly conclude what was going to happen in a movie or in a TV show. Actually, TV show. That's even crazier. That I basically guessing basically the entire plot of a TV show just from looking at the one trailer. I guess basically the entire subplot and plot of a TV show. So Heroes Reborn. Any of you've seen it? There was a girl who has a poster who had her hands up towards the air controlling the auroras. There was a trailer for that. They came out in around 2015. So when I saw the trailer and I saw her controlling the auroras, I'm like, okay. I'm like, it definitely is going to have something to do with a solar storm destroying Earth because of how the magnetosphere works, So the North Pole here, North and South Pole, you have the the magnetic field is weakest at the poles, which is why you have all the auroras there, because that's where the solar radiation follows the lines in the magnetic field and flows down into the poles. So we have the auroras because that's where the charged particles from the sun interact with the atmosphere. So I was thinking about that. I'm like, it looks like the magnetic field is reversing. I didn't even say collapse. I even predicted a reversal. That's how crazy it got. Like a reversal of the Earth's magnetic field, north and south, flipping, pole shift. Not an actual physical pole shift, but a magnetic pole shift. And it took about 12 episodes, but about a few months of episodes, I ended up being right. Who knew? I was even shocked. I mean, I was shocked because I was so right. I knew I was probably going to be right, but I was like right on. I was like right. I was like, I hit the bullseye mark basically, and that was just that was not like me like looking into the future or anything like that. That was just me, using my very reasoning skill, like intuition. Also, the psychologist told me that some TV shows are now trained to like give you everything at once, like on these some commercials, like you get all this information, your brain will actually subconsciously absorb it. But for some reason, my subconscious works a little different. So maybe when I look at something, I see it for what it really is. But no, it's because I did it all on my own. I did some my own thinking, and that's how it happened. So that's kind of cool. And also, I had some weird things happen to me in my life. February 28th, 2010, March 28th, 2010, Friday. That day, I had a really bad feeling that something really bad was going to happen. That was going to just be an all around really bad day for some reason. And you know what? I didn't wake up and say, "Oh, today's going to be terrible." I just woke up with a really bad feeling. And when I went to bed, I thought that something's going to happen tomorrow. I don't know what. And I thought it was going to be that I was going to get in trouble for some reason. That's what I thought. I thought I was going to get in big trouble. And, I just assumed I was going to get in trouble, because lately I've been getting in a lot of trouble because of my rebellious attitude. I, at the time, had oppositional defiant disorder, which I got because of being bullied in public school by people with authority. So I developed an oppositional attitude to certain people who treated me a certain way, like certain authority figures. It's not like the position they were in, but basically how they treated me. How I perceived that they treated me. And anyway, I thought I was going to get in trouble. I was like, I'm probably going to do something, and I'm probably going to get in trouble. So I assumed it was going to be that. But it was a really bad feeling. So I assumed that I was going to get in big trouble. It was something really bad's going to happen. But when I got to school, my teacher wasn't there. I'm like, oh no. I'm like, so my bad feeling wasn't me getting in trouble. It was something happening to my teacher. I'm like, no, no, no. I was like, oh no, oh no, oh no. But here's the thing. Why did I suddenly worry so much? Why did I have this horrible pit in my stomach feeling something happened to my teacher? Why? Because actually she was usually late. And here's the thing. I don't know. I just knew something happened. I guess because something like that's happened to me before, and from what I've known, when I have really strong feelings about something, I usually end up being right. And using that mentality, I assume that something really happened to her. And I want to think of, and when I try to think of other reasons that she was running late, I'm like, I can't. For some reason, I just can't think of any other reason besides that she had a car accident. And I'm there sitting there, I'm just worried. I'm like, come on, please come, please come, please come. And she didn't come. I mean, So I was supposed to go to one job site, so I ended up going to another. For some reason there, I was all like, I was a nervous wreck. Like, I was like really quiet. I was like unusually quiet because I'm usually a very talkative person. So I asked the job coach how I usually is. He's like, you did really good. You're really quiet. He asked me, is there something all right? I'm like, no, I'm worried about her. Like, I see. You still think she has a car accident? I'm like, yes. They're like, oh, I'm sure he's fine. She's fine. I'm like, and I told him I think it's my fault because I predicted it and all that, and because I thought about it too much. Anyway, so he explained to me, even if you thought about it 1,000 times worse, it's not your fault. Like, if you thought, even if like, I'm like, you didn't do anything to cause it. So I was like, you're right, and I felt better. So I had my lunch and I felt a little better. And the weather was cloudy outside, so I'm saying, oh, it's probably the weather. It's probably seasonal affective disorder. But then later that day, I got so depressed, I almost like just broke into tears. I'm like, wow, I don't usually cry. And tears were actually threatening to bring my eyes to like spill over. I'm like, wow, this is a really bad feeling. But I knew I was feeling it. I was feeling that something really bad happened to my family, especially to my mom's side, which I'm really, strong to. And so I called them that night. They told me everything is fine. So I'm like, oh, thank God. And I went to bed, you know, thinking, maybe it's just, seasonal affective disorder. So I felt all great. The week came, we had a lot of rain, which kind of made me really happy. Saturday, I felt great. Sunday, I felt great. Monday came. So Monday was the day I had to go to school. So Monday, I went to school. The teacher was there. Oh, yeah, the day. Sorry, I didn't give you the day. That was, yeah, Friday, March 28, 2010. So I went to school on the 31st March, the day before April Fools. So I went to school. It was a very rainy day. It was like raining cats and dogs. That was same month Boston, Massachusetts had one of the rainiest March ever recorded. Anyway, it rained and rained and rained. The nature trail in the back of the school was completely flooded out for like almost a week or two. I've never seen it rain that much. Like, wow, it rained a lot. And it was windy too. We had a series of like a lot of coastal storms. We had a very negative North Atlantic oscillation at the time. We had a lot of blocking. But since the pattern wasn't that cold, since there wasn't a lot of cold air, it was rain, a lot of rain too. So anyway, so it rained a lot. And that winter I was kind of depressed because, I miss all the big storms. I was in Boston when New York had some big storms, and I was in New York when Boston had the big storms, and I was kind of upset that year. That year, I didn't really like 2009, 2010. That was a pretty bad year for me. It was like a really bad year. Just an all-around bad year for me. So anyway, I called my father on, I think Monday. I called him and asked him if everything's all right. He told me, yes, everything is all right. And I'm like, how's the cat doing? Well, I talked to him, and so my grandmother was there, my grandfather was there, my father was there. So everything was fine. And I asked him how the cat's doing, like I do every time I talk to him. When I talk to him once a week. He told me the cat passed away. I was like, well, he didn't tell me that bluntly. He said, the cat's not here. I asked him, what do you mean? He said, he told me he passed away. An incident happened and he had to be put down. I'm like, when did it happen? He told me in the morning. So, I mean, I was like, wow. I'm like, when was he put down? He told me in the afternoon around 3 something. Like right when the horrible depressing feeling hit. He was actually put down, not at 3:30, sorry. Around 2 to, like 1 to 2 in the afternoon. Right when the really bad feeling hit. So maybe the good feeling happened briefly, that, that maybe there was a chance that my cat could have been saved. But here's the thing. I lived in Boston at the time when my cat and my father's side of my family lived in New York. So I think I was feeling my parents grieve. I was probably feeling my father's or probably my grandmother's emotions, perhaps. But also I predicted some of my family to have a seat, like a medical emergency right on. This is a couple of years later, 4 years later. It was now April 2014. I predicted on our way back to Florida that the moment we arrive to New York, something will happen. And that's exactly what happened. I mean, I think I've made a video about it too. So, you know, this stuff isn't just in Star Wars or in Marvels or in X-Men. It's real. It's actually real. And science is finally understanding that a lot of people deal with this, especially people on the spectrum too. Um, it's actually especially people on the spectrum. My friend, a really good YouTuber I watch, who's a weather geek just like me. He makes some of the best weather videos ever. Like he gets really excited, but he's right on. He's right on. But here's the thing: he made a prediction for an earthquake to hit, a big earthquake to hit New Zealand. He said it's going to be this strength on this day. For me, I made an earthquake prediction, but for me, it was kind of like a psychic thing, like religion. Like it was kind of God like told me. I assumed so, but perhaps it's something else. Perhaps it's consciousness may be able to look into the future. In people with autism, the brain waves operate such slightly different frequencies, which can allow the consciousness to perhaps look a little further into the future, or us to retrieve what we see and keep the memories. And he predicted an earthquake for New Zealand accurately, like really accurately. And he has autism. His YouTube channel is Frankie McDonald. And just like me, he's on the spectrum. He has autism. And I mean I have autism too, so I mean he's from Nova Scotia. The reason he probably does this because he talks in a way that people can understand, and he's like amazing, like the way he does the weather. He doesn't just do it for one area; he does it for all over the world. He talks about how the weather is going to be there, how it's going to be there. He probably looks at the computer models or looks at the forecasts, because now I can go to any computer model now, look for anywhere in the world, and say, okay, there's going to be a big storm here. The model's showing this. And he probably has a lot of resources at his disposal, and he, does those videos, and he's amazing. But I'm not like trying to advertise his channel, but you should check it out. Yeah, and I'm also giving him a little shout out too. Anyway, thank you for watching. Bye.